This is one of the most difficult question out of 100 items which you are witnessing in this complete PYQ series of your NFSU MPhil Clinical Psychology paper 2023. Welcome everyone, this is part number 9 and we are going to check 10 more questions. We are going to solve that and you are going to have your learning immense exponentially and what? Just using some adjectives. Okay, welcome back all of you once again to this is part number 9 in research. Now the next 20 questions are somewhat on the difficult side. Okay, so in research the issue of research ethics may be considered. Now first question is from where you can read about research ethics, just the general basic framework. You can surface this with the C book, you can surface with the A book, and that is it. If you done these two, research ethics is almost done. There are basically confidentiality and that thing 2, 4, 5, 6 deliberate points that's it only. Okay, the research in research the issue of research ethics, so you should be knowing what are the ethics, may be considered pertinent at the stage of. Now what does this mean by the meaning of pertinent? Okay, so what does pertinent means? It means closely connected with the subject being discussed. Okay, so what is that thing which is closely connected, that may be considered pertinent, closely connected at the stage of? Whether it is problem formulation and its definition, whether it is defining the population of research, whether it is data collection and interpretation, and whether it is for the reporting the findings. Okay, so now what they have done is from your research series or research portion, what they have done very beautifully is that they have added research ethics along with research steps. Okay, so if you will study the research steps, what are those? Those are problem formulation, what is the first problem and its definition, then maybe defining the hypothesis and all those things, and defining the population of research. Then what we will do, we will use data collection and our interpretation, and then we will report the findings. Okay, so what are these are the research steps that we use in our psychology or any other form of research. Okay, now but they have combined this thing with research ethics. Okay, now in research the issue of research ethics may be considered pertinent, means most closely related with the stage of problem formulation, definition, defining the population, data collection, interpretation, reporting the findings. So the answer is your data collection and interpretation. Okay, so this is the correct answer. Don't go into why and what is happening. This is not going to repeat again ever in your life or whenever you are becoming a clinical psychologist. This question you will never witness again in your life, but what you will witness again and again repeatedly, research ethics. You must know what are those ethics, and by the APA in 1953 I guess, and the research steps. These research steps are very IMP. They can ask out of the following, out of these, which of the following is not a steps in research. Okay, all right, moving forward to the next one. And before that, if you have not yet joined on the Telegram for the free study materials which you can have and prepare for MPhil, prepare the best, so you can join by the link given in the description. Okay, now talking about next question number 82. In dash random sampling, units are randomly sampled from a population that has been divided into categories. Okay, so I hope you know the distinction between the population and sample. Okay, so I hope that you know this much basic, what is the difference between a population and a sample. Okay, now we are given the simple, stratified, cluster and systematic, these kind of sampling, and I would like to once again tell you the non-probability sampling. Okay, it is a Hindi mnemonic if you know Hindi somewhat. So it stands for QAJSSD. Okay, so it sounds like koi agar jayega snow sattu dega. Okay, if you encode like this in your entire life, I guarantee you will never forget what are the non-probability sampling. What are those types? Okay, so it stands for the quota sampling, accidental, judgmental, this is snowball, this is saturation, and this is for the dense sampling. Okay, and what are these? These are the non-probability sampling, different types of quota, accidental, judgmental. Okay, so as you can see, simple, stratified, cluster and systematic. What we are dealing with, are we dealing with the probability one or the non-probability one? Okay, so as you can see, the major probability sampling methods are the following. Page number 367, and I guess we are done. Simple, stratified, proportionate, disproportionate, and area or cluster sampling. And out of these three are the similar: simple, stratified, and cluster. You just saw these three in our beloved ebook. Okay, so if you don't have access to the ebook, join in the Telegram channel. From there, you can have access to all the books that are important for you. Nevertheless, so you can read about this simple, stratified and cluster from there, and the correct answer for now is the cluster sampling. Okay, in cluster sampling, what you will use, in cluster random sampling, units are randomly sampled from a population that has been divided into categories. We will make categories and you can check it over here as well. It is written the same thing. Okay, making the categories, the cluster drawing areas. So this is the correct answer, option number 3 over here. Moving forward to the next one, using this dash relates majorly to the issue of causality. Okay, and this reference you will again find in the ebook easily, about measurement validity, construct validity, internal and external. Okay, now one thing which is very IMP, in the head of validity you will find what, you will find content, criterion and construct. Okay, so whenever we are not able to use the previous two, or the first one and second one, whenever we are not able to use this thing, we will then use the construct validity. Okay, and Campbell Fiske will come in picture after that, but construct validity will always be used when we cannot use the content or criterion or concurrent, whatever the validity we are having, we study. Once we are not able to do that, we will always use the construct validity after that. Okay, all right, but for now dash relates majorly to the issue of causality. It refers to the internal validity. Okay, option number 3 is the correct answer. When you will read, when you will study about validity in detail from books or from me anywhere outside your arena, but then you will be able to understand what is external validity is always about the generalizing. Okay, whether you can generalize this thing to the outside world or not, it is always about that. Internal validity is always about that, the issue of causality. We are having this IV, based on this are we having this particular DV or not, just on this effect we are having that cause effect relationship is determined by the internal validity. Okay, construct validity obviously not, and this is nothing as of now. So moving forward to the next one, the main aim of the scientific method in the research field. What is science? You will prove something using some assumptions and all those things. Okay, just a general commonsensical question in the research field is to, you will never find any book which is mentioning this particular thing. Okay, you have to apply your brain. The main aim of the scientific method is the research in the research field is to improve data interpretation, confirm triangulation, introduce new variables and eliminate spurious relations. Okay, so just choose the odd one out, what your brain is telling you, this is going to be the correct answer and that will be the correct answer. Okay, obviously we are not using scientific methods to confirm triangulation, not to introduce new variables we will use these scientific methods, and not to eliminate spurious relations as well. So why we are using these? To improve data interpretation, how we can interpret that data, we are using these scientific methods, different kinds of. Okay, don't worry, this will not repeat. Now moving forward, this one is a good one, and you will again find a mishap happening by simple English terms which are used. Casual research. Have you in your entire life read or studied about casual research? Please tell me. I guess 99.9% in the NPC of ours, everyone will answer no. Okay, you have never studied about casual research. Okay, yes, casual dress you might wear, but casual research never possible. Dash is the term used to describe research studies that investigate the impact of one factor on another, and that is why reading books is so important. One factor or another, particularly focusing on the influence of one variable on another. Simply saying IV ka, I mean IV will what have effect on the DV. Okay, particularly focusing on the influence of one variable on another. I don't know whether you know or no. Factor means what? Factor simply means IV. Okay, it's so simple. Independent variable is also sometimes called in our research study as the factor. Okay, so if let's suppose a statement is saying we are having two factors in our study, what does it mean? We are having IV1 and we are having IV2. Okay, it can be 3 4 5 whatever that can be, but impact of one factor on another, it means IV1 will have impact on DV1 or DV2, whatever that case is, depending upon, particularly focusing on the influence of one variable on another. So whether we are talking about applied research, conclusive research or exploratory research, this is not happening any day. The correct answer is your casual research or your casual t-shirt or your casual jeans or your casual dress. Okay, so correct answer is your casual research, but it is not casual, it is causal. What is causing what? Okay, you have studied about cause effect relationship. Okay, cause effect relationship, that thing is called as the your causal research. So this is the correct answer. Causal research. Applied research, whenever we are using whatever we have studied, we are using to apply somewhere, maybe ergonomics or whatever that scenario may be, not a conclusive research and not a exploratory research as well. Okay, I guess you will find this in C book as well, or in the ebook if you read line by line. Moving forward to the next one, 86. Do you know that altruism is a defense mechanism as well? If not, when knowledge can be tested and verified through empirical evidence. What does empirical means? Evidence, it is considered dash. Okay, altruistic art, see, obviously artistic is not going to be the answer any day. Okay, when knowledge can be tested and verified through empirical evidence, it is considered what? Artistic? No, artistic is above science. Okay, art is always and will be above science. Okay, you cannot just put art in the framework of what? In the framework of science? Never. Art cannot be included in science along those lines. Okay, art is something which is absolutely phenomenal. Now, scientific and idiosyncratic. So what is the correct answer over here? It is scientific. Okay, it is just a basic common sense question. When knowledge can be tested and verified through empirical evidence, it is considered, obviously it will be considered scientific, not idiosyncratic, not artistic, and not altruistic as well. Okay, what does idiosyncratic or idiosyncrasy means? That is something which is very particular to an individual. Very particular to an individual. Okay, that is called as, you would have heard of idiosyncrasy credit. That is so particular to that particular individual. Okay, now scientific is the correct answer. Artistic, obviously this is out of arena right now, out of the league. Artistic and altruistic is also not the answer. And there are n number of theories of on altruism, kin selection, and empathy joy model, and all those things which you will study in the social psychology portion. Okay, and if you just simply empirical, what is the meaning of empirical? It is based on experiments and practical experience, and that is where science enters. Okay, and obviously in art we are never going to use experiments or practical experiences. Yeah, practical experiences might be, but not the experiment. Okay, that is why when you will read fiction or studies like Othello, Hamlet, or Ade Adhure or things like that, you will never find about scientific those all things. Okay, why? Because this is art and that is way beyond science. Now moving forward, this is not a philosophy class. Okay, what is the aim of educational research? Again, a common sense question for you. What is the aim of educational research? Identifying major problem that needs to be solved? No. Searching for the new facts and principles underlying the process of education? Just take this and move forward. This is not going to repeat again. Okay. It will be, what is the aim of different kind of research, and if it asks the same thing, then it is sheer luck of yours. Identifying the aim of education? No. Identifying the values that need to be inculcated in the pupils? No pupils. Okay. Option number second is the correct answer. Let's move forward to the next question. And external, do I need to even say or iterate what this is happening? External validity in research refers to, even if you don't know the answer, if you have heard the explanation, what is going on in the previous 10 to 12 minutes, you will be able to answer it exactly correct without any doubt. In your entire life, you will solve this question in quick 1 second without any doubt if you have heard the previous conversation. External validity in research refers to rigor of the study. I don't know what is the meaning of rigor. If you know, please comment down. Okay, rigor of the study, accuracy of a procedure, relation of the research problem with the researcher's personal life. This is so personal getting now. Okay, and extent of generalizability that the results provide. Yes, exactly. Now you have to encode this thing about internal validity and external validity. What is EV? This is this thing, extent of generalizability, and IV is direct cause effect. Whenever we will say about internal validity, we are asking for whether the cause is providing that particular effect or not. Okay, make sure I am not spelling affect, I am spelling effect. Okay, now moving forward to the this one. This one is the difficult question in this entire paper of 100 questions, 100 items. Okay, if y is equals to ax plus minus b, where a and b are any two constants and a is not equal to 0, then the quartile deviation of y values is equal to, this is a difficult one, you can skip completely, it is not going to come again. Okay, but wait, I will tell you. But before that, we will look into our last question for the day, that is question number 90. And for a symmetrical distribution, now this is where your common sense, your sheer knowledge, and your everything or whatever you have learned in life will come into picture. Okay, for a symmetrical distribution, and agree, this is also a difficult one. This is a difficult question. 89 and 90 are the most, not the most, but yes, the difficult question of out of these 100 paper. Okay. For a symmetrical distribution, if you don't know, then only. Okay. But if you know, it is like, okay, this was that. For a symmetrical distribution, beta 1, beta 1, beta 1, beta 1, you have no idea from where this beta has arrived. Okay. Now, for a symmetrical distribution, do you know, first of all, before going to this, do you know what is a symmetrical distribution? Yes, I have seen the complete series. Whenever they will write about symmetrical distribution or unimodal distribution, they are always meaning the same thing called as the NPC. NPC stands for normal probability curve, which is always like this till your last breath. Okay, this will always be the same, and it is why these two tails are not meeting over here. I completely don't know, but it is asymptotic. Okay, it is called as asymptotic, and you will find the mean, median, mode, everything in this thing. And this is also called as the unimodal model or unimodal. It is also called as the NPC. It is also called as the Gaussian curve. Everything you can refer to. And what is happening over here is it is symmetrical. Why symmetrical? Because the complete area, if you have ever read about the area, perimeter and all those things, this complete area is equal to this complete area. Okay, and that is the difference between a negative skew and a positive skew. Okay, because you will find this thing mean over here, and this area is never similar to this one, as well as this area is never similar to this one. That is why skewness, okay, I have mentioned, okay, that is why the skewness is 0 in this particular thing. Okay, but we cannot find this in the negative skew and the positive skewed this diagram. Okay, so what is beta 1? Beta 1 is nothing but the skewness. Beta 1 is what? It is simply skewness. So just tell me, what is the skewness value of your NPC or your Gaussian curve or a symmetrical distribution? Okay, I hope you understood now what is the meaning of symmetrical distribution. It is same. Okay, symmetry. We are having symmetry over here. We are not having the asymmetry. Okay, and if you have ever studied about this mathematical concept of asymmetry and symmetrical triangle and all those things, you will be getting this very quickly. Okay, okay, and if not, just go with the explanation. What is the skewness of a NPC? It is 0, null. And from where you get the answer, beta 1 is equals to 0. What they are asking is, just in a difficult way, for a symmetrical distribution, beta 1 is equals to 0. And what is beta 1? This is the thing which you need to take learning of. This is called as the skewness. Okay, so in a NPC you have only two things. First is the skewness and second is the kurtosis or the kurtosis. Okay, now be sure next time they will definitely ask you what is the value of beta 2 and what you will mark 0.263. Okay, this is the value of kurtosis in a NPC or a Gaussian curve or in a symmetrical distribution. Okay, so I hope you now got the concept of, for a symmetrical distribution, what is a symmetrical distribution? It is a NPC and beta 1 value will be 0, not less than, not greater than. Okay, now very interesting. If they will ask you the value is greater than 0 or less than 0, what they want to ask, whether it is skewed or not. I hope you got my point. Why I'm telling you whether this one is positive or negative, you can just check from the values. Beta is equals to 3, not over here. Okay, so option number 3 is the correct answer. And now we'll move forward to the difficult one, and this is y is equals to ax plus minus b. First of all, don't worry, this is not going to repeat ever, but you need to learn some things if you're interested. If not, you can just take the answer and just go home. Okay, let's start. So first of all, y is equals to ax plus b. You would have heard of this statement. What is it? Is a linear equation, we can say. Y is equals to ax plus b, which we will use in the regression and multiple regression. Okay, for that refer to a book. The basic concepts are explained pretty well over there, and if not, you can just refer to these kind of videos. Okay, y is equals to ax plus b is the equation. Okay, and what is happening over here? Why they have just tricked this one by y is equals to ax plus minus b. They have included like this, which is none of the importance right now, where a and b are any two constants and a is not equals to 0, so the value of a is not taking as the 0, then the quartile deviation of y value is equal to. So first of all, you need to understand what is a quartile deviation, and before that you need to understand what is a deviation. Okay, it is a long process. And what does deviation means? From where these much values, how many are going in different areas, or how far these are deviating from the actual mean. Okay, so let's suppose if this is 0 and how far this is going, if the scores are consolidated around here or they are consolidated around here, and how many, in how much many ways these are going away from that particular mean. Okay, this is called as a simple deviation. And now we are talking about what? We are talking about the deviation, but it is not just a deviation, how the points are scattered or moving away. We are talking about the quartile deviation. Now what does quartile mean? Okay, so don't read anything apart from what I am telling you. Let's suppose these are the number data set. These are the values from 0 to 20. Okay, these are the values from 0 to 20. And what we have done is, what is the meaning of quarter? I guess you know it is 25. Okay, so this is 25%, this is 25%, this is 25, and this is again a 25%. Okay, and just to teach you like a baby, see over here, these are the 25 cents. Okay, in mathematical terms, okay, it is provided in Gujarati also. A quarter fraction is the division of one whole into four equal parts. So let's suppose you're having a pizza over here. This is a half, and these are the quarter. Quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, and quarter four. Okay. So now you know what is a quartile deviation. A deviation where we will have what values? Where we will have Q1 and Q3 with us. Okay. Why Q1, Q3? See, because Q2 is just equally dividing into 50-50. But we don't need that. We are talking about quartile deviation. Okay. And for quartile deviation, we will have this one till Q1 and this Q3. 16.5 it is given. Don't hover over here, just get this formula. Quartile deviation is equals to Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. This is the exact formula which you need to remember for this particular question. Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. Why? What has happened is, once we have included these three lines, the whole value system is divided into four equal parts. Okay, so we are talking about quartile deviation over here. So what is the formula for QD or quartile deviation? It is Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. This is very IMP, this formula. So now we are talking about which quartile deviation? We are talking about quartile deviation of y. Y is equals to ax plus b is our equation, plus minus b. For quartile deviation of y, we need the value. Okay, and what is quartile division of y? What it will be for y? If I say QD for y, what it will be? Can I write like this? Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. It was our equation, but we need for y. So can I write like this? Y and y. Okay, quartile 3 of y minus quartile 1 of y divided by 2. Okay, can I write for this? Yes, absolutely. So we need to find this particular thing. Okay, quartile division of y. How can we calculate? Quartile deviation 3y minus q1y divided by 2. Okay, now but what we have in the equation, we have y is equals to a plus minus bx. Okay, so can I write this equation as q3y is equals to a q3x plus b? Can I write like this for the q3? And for q1, can I write like this? q1 of y is equals to a q1 of x over here plus b. Okay, so these two are the equations. I will write in the place of q3y, I will write this, and q1y I can write this. Okay, and what was our formula? Formula was Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. Now we have the value for Q3 as well, and now we have the value for Q1 as well. Okay, so can I write over here that for quartile deviation of y is equals to, see, this is your question, this is not mathematics, this was the question asked in the exam of NFSU. Okay, now can I write like this? What was that? The first one, quartile deviation of y is equals to quartile deviation 3 of y minus quartile deviation of 1 of y divided by 2. Now next step, this was step number 1. Next step, quartile division of y is equals to, what was this equation we just saw previously? It was a q3 of x plus b. Okay, same equation, minus what will come? Q1 a q1 x plus b divided by 2. Okay, and this will be in bracket. Okay, so as soon as I will open the bracket, what will it become? It will become again minus b over here. Okay, as soon as I open the brackets, what will the sign will change on, and what will it will become? It will become minus b. So minus b and plus b will cancel out. Okay, now do you know how to take common? So if you don't know, it's completely okay. We will take a, as we are having a in this also and a in this also. We will take a as the common. Okay. So what is left? Quartile deviation of y is equals to a is taken out now. What we are left with? We are left with q3 of x minus q1 of x divided by 2 over here. Okay. This is the equation as of now. So if I want you to just focus, have you seen this thing earlier as well? This thing, just remember, forget this too. Q3x minus q1x. y3, I mean q3 minus q1 divided by 2. This is what? This is the formula for y. Okay. I mean the quartile deviation of y. We are calculating this only. Okay. So can I write like this? Quartile deviation of y is equals to a into quartile deviation of x, like this, qdx. So if I can write qdx like this, okay, qdy is equals to, I know it is very confusing, but please bear with me, just follow the steps, you will be able to understand properly. Qdy is equals to a into qd of x, quartile deviation of x is equals to quartile deviation 3x minus quartile deviation 1x divided by 2. This was what we have substituted with this thing. Okay, and what we got? Quartile deviation of y is equals to a into quartile deviation of x. Till now we are over here. Okay, now what is next? We cannot have deviation as a negative, so what we will use mod. I hope you know the meaning of mod, this thing. So quartile deviation of y is equals to mod of a. If anything, if any value of a is negative, it will automatically become positive. So mod of a into quartile deviation of x, and this is the final equation which you need, and that is the absolutely correct answer for your NFSU this particular question. Okay, mod of a into quartile deviation of x, but just avoid their mistake of putting multiply into sign in between. They would have written like this, like that, mod of a into quartile deviation of x. This is the proper thing, this is the proper value of your quartile deviation of y, but they have missed in everything, so we will just take at the face value what is the correct value, which is equal to mod of a is equals to quartile deviation of x. Okay, this is absolutely wrong, but the answer is correct, option number second. Okay, so if you're in exam hall and you're finding this type of discrepancy, just always go with the most suitable answer. And what is the most suitable answer? Mod of a into quartile deviation of x, and this is absolutely the correct answer. Okay, so if you find this difficult, make sure that you watch this thing again, make sure that you take your pen and note down whatever I am writing, so that when you will revise from your own thing, then you will be able to understand. This is from the simple formula y is equals to q3 quarter 3 minus quarter 1 upon 2. So if I write quartile deviation of y, I will just put yy over here, and if I write quartile deviation of x, I can just simply write xx in between. Okay, and even I can write your name as well. Okay, so let's suppose quartile deviation of a person called as Z. Okay, Z or Zoro. Quartile deviation of Zoro, what it will be? It will be quarter 3 of Zoro, I don't know who Zoro is, minus quarter 1 of Zoro divided by 2. Okay, the same thing, and we have just substituted this thing by this qdx, and that is why how we came to this formula of qdx. Okay, and a we just took the common, and b was plus b minus b. I hope you know this much mathematics, that plus and minus cancels, and that is why we came up to this part of question number second, and this is the correct answer. So this was it for today's part number 9. See you all in the next part. That is going to be the last part of your NFSU MPhil Clinical Psychology paper of 2023. Okay. So wish you all the very best for the upcoming examination. Part 10 will be finished by tomorrow, so you have time to revise. If you have not watched from part 1 to part 9, you are missing a lot, and which will impact your results or your upcoming exam as well. So don't miss, take your time, revise from part 1 to part 9, take all the books which have been mentioned, read from there. As you can see, questions are directly coming from there only, and you don't need to worry, just need to keep your open mind, and yes, please take your common sense along with you in an exam hall, because you will find questions like these as well where you have to apply common sense. Okay, so now this is question number 91. We will discuss from here forward no we will discuss from here in the next part. There is going to be a part number 10. If you like the video, make sure that you're hitting that like button and sharing with your friends of NFSU, maybe Gandhinagar, maybe Delhi, wherever you stay, and become the clinical psychologist faster, sooner, and take care of people of India. Thank you, and have a nice day at night. Actually, good night. What are you waiting for? Yes, sir.